Hi guys, how are you? It is Rise with Gladys Mothoni. Welcome back to this channel. This is the place where we learn, we practice, and we grow. So today I'm back with a very powerful and very important lesson in our lives. And today we are going to be speaking of why salvation. And we look at what is salvation, how do you get it, and why salvation. So we shall start over by defining the word salvation. Salvation is to rescue something from a bad end or from being destroyed. And in our context, salvation is being saved from or being rescued from the eternal judgment of God. It's being changed from the position where you are the enemy of God to the position where you are the friend of God. And we ask ourselves, why salvation? Why does man need salvation? And on my previous video, we were looking at sin and the consequences of sin. And we said that sin has very high consequences and it's very expensive. It's more, the consequences will lead you to paying more than what you are willing to pay. But again, we come and ask ourselves, have you ever looked at your life and you know that I am willing to do something that is good? I have a will to do it, but I am not able to do it. I will to do something good, but I find myself doing something else that is bad. And even Paul, who wrote the book of Romans, says in chapter 7 that he tries to do that which is right. He knows the law and he's trying to do that which is right. But he finds another law at work in his life that even though he's willing to do that which is right, he does that which is wrong. So this tells us that a human being by themselves, they do not have the capacity to keep the righteousness of God. When Jesus came, he said that he has not come to abolish the law, but rather to even lift the standard. If Moses was, the law would say, killing is a sin. And Jesus came and said, whoever harbors a grudge or has bitter feelings against his neighbor has also killed. The Lord said that we should not commit adultery. Jesus came and said and lifted the standard that whoever will look at a person lustfully has already committed the sin. So Jesus came to lift the standard. And if you look at it by your own self, you are not able to keep it. And where did this come from? This ability of us not being able to keep the law is traced all back to the first man, who is Adam. So I will read to us Romans chapter 5 and verse 12. It says, therefore, just as sin entered the world through one man, and death through sin. So, and this death, and in this way, death came to all people because all sinned. So when Adam sinned, Adam and Eve were created by God and put in the Garden of Eden, and God gave them the instructions not to eat the fruit that was at the middle of the garden. And Adam and Eve were lied to by the serpent, which is an imagery for the enemy, the devil, and they ate the fruits, and because of that they fell. And when they fell, that sin entered the whole of the human race. So every child that is born into sin. Every child that is born without capacity to keep the law. Who teaches children how to do wrong things? Even toddlers, they know. Some can't even speak, but they kind of know when they are doing the wrong thing. Who teaches them? It means that it's a nature that people are born with, that by themselves they cannot keep the law. The law was put so that what would be sinful would be termed as sinful. If we have not said killing is a sin, even if you kill, we don't have a standard by which we can measure you by. So we would not really say that is a sin. If there is a law of a certain country and something has not been clearly stipulated in the law, it becomes a problem for the judge to tell, how do I really judge this person? They go back, maybe even looking to other countries and try to figure out, has this case ever appeared in that country? How did they deal with it? Because it is not clearly stipulated in their law how they should deal with such a person. So law was put so that man would know actually he's really sinful, and this nature of sinfulness would be exposed, and it would be known that by our own self, then our end can't be good. By our own selves, we cannot be able to keep the standards of God. And many people are discouraged to even be Christians because they think, these standards of God are so high, I'm not able to keep it. Those people are right that they are not able to keep it. The part that they are not right is that they are depending on themselves. If you ever depend on yourself, you are depending on your own power to make the will, on your own power to keep the law, on your own power to stay on the right path, then it is true that you can never make it. But now, in this book of Romans, I will continue to read verse 13. Says, to be sure, sin was in the world before the law was given, but sin is not charged against anyone's account where there is no law. Just as we have said, you cannot be charged for sin where there is no law. We have to have a standard by which we are measuring you by. Nevertheless, death reigned from the time of Adam to the time of Moses, even over those who did not sin by breaking a command, as did Adam, who is a pattern of the one to come. In this continuation, you have been told that even over those who did not sin by breaking a command. Adam broke a command, but because he broke a command, this nature was upon everyone else who came after Adam, and that's why the sin came even upon those who had not broken a command. So the human race, everyone, as long as you're human, as long as you have come from the lineage of Adam, then you are considered a sinner. But the gift is not like the trespass. For if the many died by the trespass of one man, how much more did God's grace and the gift that came by grace of the one man, Jesus Christ, overflow to the many? As the other previous verse is ending, he's saying, who is a pattern of the one to come. So Adam was a pattern of a second Adam, who is Jesus Christ, who was going to come. Immediately Adam and Eve sinned, and God gave them the punishment. What he said to the woman is, from you there will come a seed, and this seed is going to crush the head of the serpent. The serpent was always going to be after the woman's heel, but from the woman there will come a seed who would crush the head of the serpent. So this is Jesus Christ. Now, because man, out of this sinful nature, he's not able to keep the commands, and he's not able to keep the standard of God. God had a strategy, and what was the strategy of God? It was Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, who is fully God and became man and was fully God and fully human. And as he became human, he was able to live under the same circumstances that we live, face the same temptations and the same troubles that we face, but he did not sin. And he became the sacrifice for all. By his blood, he shed his blood on the cross and became the sacrifice for each and every person, so that anyone who will now believe in Jesus Christ receives salvation. So that now God does not look at you as a person, but looks at you through Jesus Christ. So by looking at Jesus Christ and the righteousness of Jesus Christ, God considers that you are a righteous person. So this salvation is not by works. It is justification. Is that God looks at you through the eyes of Jesus Christ, just as if you had never sinned. So this is what salvation really is. It is a one-time thing, and it comes from you believing in Jesus Christ. Romans chapter 10 verse 9, it says, Romans 10 verse 9, this is what it tells us. If you declare with your mouth Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. So salvation is purely based on faith. It's purely based on you receiving Jesus Christ as the one who has been sacrificed for your sinful nature. And then after this salvation, what happens? Now God begins to work in you and begins to teach you his word and begins to walk with you through a journey of sanctification. And this journey is where he teaches you now how to live out that thing that he has done in the inside. Salvation is an inside work that happens in you, and now God helps you to bring what he has already done in your inside, in your spirit, to bring it out into your actions and into your daily life. So sanctification now takes time. It is one step after the other. You used to be a drug addict. After receiving salvation, God helps you to walk one step after the other for you to be transformed from that addiction. Maybe you used to be a very technical liar. Now God helps you and shapes you through sanctification for you to walk this Christian journey. So justification is a one-day thing. That salvation is, for you to be called the child of God is a one-day thing. But sanctification is an everyday job. We follow after God every day. He is cleansing us every day. And this sanctification will come. It happens. It never stops. It will only come to the end when we are during the redemption and when we are fully turned into the image of Jesus Christ. So we need salvation as men, and salvation is not based on us. Salvation is purely based on Jesus, and our work is to have faith in him. Nothing else would satisfy God. If you try to keep the law by your own self, you'll just get burned out, because you will discover you can't do it. You can write schedules, you can write a timetable, you can say 21 days I'm going to practice this thing, and then after some time you discover, when I've just worked on this one thing, there's this other area. Of course we should work out our salvation, but that's not what attains us the salvation. We get the salvation and then we work it out. That which is in the inside, we bring it out. God gives us his fullness from the inside and then we work it out. So that's where we will stop today. I hope this is helpful to you and it helps you understand. You can ask your questions in the comment section. I'd be happy to hear from you. Yes, and you can like this video, share with those who need to get this message. You can also, if you've not subscribed, please subscribe. Yes, and let's meet here the next time so that we can continue to learn and continue to allow the Holy Spirit of God to teach us and to help us to work out our salvation. Until next time, bye bye.